Hello there everyone! This is I am Mark 3 and welcome to this week's mini-series. Battlevoid Harbinger. Or is it Harbinger? Battlevoid, you like to binge on Hars, I think. I don't know how you're meant to pronounce that, but I just say Harbinger. I don't know. But yeah. Battlevoid Harbinger. This is a roguelike sci-fi light strategy, spacey sci-fi thingamabobby. I know, descriptive. But it's one that I actually picked up for the channel like, well, got to be about 5 or 6 months ago now actually. Way back when I had recently just started streaming. Oh, before I streamed. Those were simpler times, better times. I'm getting all misty-eyed just thinking about them. Things were so much simpler when I didn't stream. Anyway, no, I'm going off scripts. Wait, I don't have scripts. I don't know what I'm babbling on about. Well, anyway, Battlevoid Harbinger, here we go. The reason I've not played it on the channel is purely because, well, I had it on mobile. Still got it on mobile, actually. And I'd just been playing it regularly for like half a year or so, so on mobile I'm like level 36 or something like that. And I played everything except for the special ships, which had just come out about the time I was getting done with it and deciding I wanted to play something else while heading into work. So it's like, yeah. So I picked this up, but then I didn't feel like playing it, even though it was requested that I start to stream it or something. So it's been sitting in my library ever since, and I've barely touched it. I've just touched it for like an hour or so recently so that I could learn how to play it. I have it level 2, so I've got an extra ship. But then we got all these other ships, and then we got these down here, the special ships, which are earned by going through X number of times and finding all the pieces. So that's why I've not got those. They're not actually tied to... The hell's that one? Darn you, PC! Mobile doesn't have that one. I see multiple weapon ports on that. And that's a carrier dock at the back. No, wait, no, that's the engine. Damn it, that one looks interesting. Ugh. Anyway, back to what I'm doing. I've got access to the Raven, an assault ship, and the Nightingale, a light assault carrier. Now, for this mini-series, I'm going to start out by trying to do what is, well, last time I bothered to check, was widely touted as impossible, and it was one of the gripes people had about the game. The hell's that one? I don't recognise that one either. The PC's got some extra ships in here. I don't recognise that one either. I recognise that one. And that one. Yeah, I think there's a few extra ships in this list. Anyway, it was widely touted that you have to play the game over and over to get the big ships before you can complete a run on hard mode. Because, well, that people are just flat out saying it's impossible on smaller ships. I disagree. The chances there, it's harder on the small ships, I would say. But it's definitely doable. And to prove it, I'm going to actually grab a Nightingale over a Raven because I actually think the Nightingale is more useful than the Raven, even though the Raven's got like 600 extra hit points and thicker shields and it's faster. But the Nightingale has 2 less support slots for point defense weaponry. And in exchange for those 2 slots and the extra stats on it, it's got a carrier bay for fighters, which gives it more flexibility. So in some ways, the Raven is actually a downgrade if you ignore the flat-out durability boost on it. So yeah, as a general rule, carrier ships, they sacrifice stats to get carrier slots. Assault ships are always faster and more durable, but they've got extra small weaponry. But in real terms, in terms of power, as these ships progress, a flat-out upgrade is if the ship gains an extra fighter slots or an extra turret hardpoint. Turret hardpoint is generally more powerful than a fighter bay, but a fighter bay adds extra versatility to the ship because you can load support drones and things into it to give your ship a bit of extra flexibility. So that's the trade-off. I mean, this one goes up to a light assault carrier, which has got 2 and 1, but it's got flat out better stats. Then we hit the another destroyer ship, but it's got 3 turrets on it. Then we hit another assault ship, which is only 2 turrets, so it's actually a slight downgrade, but it's got really thick hull, you know, that kind of thing. Then we hit this guy, which has actually got 2 carrier slots and 2 guns. So yeah, and look at that, its hull just goes back down through the floor. In fact, that guy, the resolution's got less hit points than the starting one. And it's much slower to boot. It's only got slightly thicker shielding, but that's about it. And that shielding isn't worth much a lot of the time. Anyway, enough faffing around. Let's grab that. Let's make sure it's set to hard, yes. Let's random stop. Oh, that's a bad one. Yep. This will do. It's always good to have like a crescent-shaped map, because then it's like, if you got a cut-off, that's always a bit more manageable, but you got to remember that you can't actually randomize or pick the maps as you go deeper into the game. So you can only randomize / pick the first one. And honestly, there's a lot of clusters around here, and there's a massive chain down here past the exit, which is going to be a hassle to do. Ideally, you want to try and get a corridor shape, but this is not it, because there's this massive space here, unless I just ignore it. Because in each map you've got to complete the objective and get through to the complete the objective for that map, then get to the exit and clean the exit square out of enemies. Anything else is just risk to your ship, but you get scrap and research and all that jazz, so you know, it's hunting basically. Anyway, let us continue. I am against the Celestials. Yes, that advanced carrier with its extra 150 hit points. Against Celestials, that would have been absolutely useless. So yeah, the Celestials, there's like 4 enemy races in this. These guys are energy beings with a unified mind, using very advanced and coordinated tactics combined with the most advanced energy technology encountered so far. They are known to use humans as energy resources by plugging them directly into their ships. So, a Matrix-style enemy. Okay. Destroy the outposts. Well, actually we just have to destroy the boss, but if we kill the outposts first, it makes the boss weaker. Commander, our researchers against Celestial outposts are powering the main Celestial station. Valuable information. You can weaken the Celestial main station by destroying the outpost first, Commander. Yes, Mr. Geezer. There we go. So we've got 4 enemy stations. One of them is kind of... No, wait, I think that's the main... Yeah, that's the exit. That's the main boss there. And then they are scattered around the place at random. And if I do it, I get a weapon. That's a nuke cannon. Okay. We start off... This is our starting allotment. If you play on hard difficulty, the enemies are more numerous and they have better equipment. And you get less resources to start out. But you always get generally enough to get started. So, let us outfit our ship. This is my ship, by the way. There are many ships like it, but this one is mine. Yes. Now, let's actually outfit it. Now, we are at the beginning of the game, so... Well, we're playing on hard, so I've got to play for keeps. I actually tested this out on mobile way back, so I know the optimum ways to start out. If you've got a single hard point, then you generally want a laser cannon, because it's very accurate, it does a lot of shield and a lot of hull. I mean, against Celestials they have a lot of shielding, but they have thin hull, so yeah, there is that. I could go for a missile turret, because missiles and rockets are shield piercing, as in they just punch straight through a shield. They do a little bit of shield damage, but they go straight through and hit the hull, so my end goal is to get my fleet equipped with rocket cannons, actually. And that's because the enemy has point defenses, so rockets go faster. So they're less likely to get shot down on the way in. Missiles, they home in, but they are quite a bit slower. But anyway, the problem is rocket cannons are 1,200, I can't afford one. But I need something to start. So, the absolute minimum to start out is a projectile cannon. You need something to deal with enemy fighter craft, because there's enemy fighters around the place. Right at the beginning, there's a few pockets which just have enemy fighters in it, and fighters don't have shields, so you need projectile cannons to swat them as fast as possible, so you take the least damage possible in return. So a projectile cannon is a really solid addition to your ship. And then, against the capital ship, you need something to help bash down their shields. This is especially true against Celestials, because they have very thick shields, so NG cannon as my second slot. And that's consumed all of my starting resources. I can't afford anything else. So yeah, there we go. that will let me fight against single enemy ships at the most basic level. It's not very tough. But battle stations, when you find them, you can always come back to these to repair your ship for free, which is good. You can also trade with them if you've got the resources. I don't, like 3,000 that, to get some science packs. Or I could actually buy some weaponry. Notice these are Wanderer Ion Cannon and Celestial Shield Drainer. That's because you've got your basic weapon types, which is the human, and then each race has a modifier, though there's also RNG involved as well. But in general, Celestial gives better energy weaponry, but they are inferior projectiles. Wanderer, I think, is just flat out better projectiles. Also, the end game weaponry and stuff is like random drop, most of it. So things like mega plasma cannons, flak cannons for point blank ballistic assaults, Gatling guns, stuff like that, you have to get them as a random drop, unfortunately. But you can also get a mission. And this mission is really simple. Just fly to a nearby sector, and we'll give you a little bit of money and research. Sure, that's okay. You can only get one mission from each station, by the by. But there's nothing else to do here, so we'll go to the star map. Each turn is a move. You can either wait or you can move around. The enemy moves around as well, and most maps have a shipyard sector, which has a station which will steadily build new enemy ships. If you find that and kill it, then the enemy ships will stop respawning. Well, it's not respawning because it builds them at random, like random designs each time, so it's not going to be the same ships coming back over and over. But if you don't knock out the shipyard, then you can actually harvest ships for more score and resources. So it depends, really. Anyway, let's roll in. We've got these little triangles on the map. We've got 2 fighters, as you can see here. Because those little chevrons are fighters. If I click on this, actually I can't show you that because my individual ship is a different symbol. We've got allied fighters there, though. So 2 enemy fighters. If I had no resources, a single projectile cannon would be enough to deal with these, and I could shoot these and hopefully get enough scrap to get the NG cannon, but I had enough to start out. Now, if I click on this grid, I can jump into a given point in the sector I'm going to, and I can use that to adjust where I appear when I jump in, which is vitally important, especially in this case because my ship is fragile. This one doesn't really matter, it's 2 enemy fighters, but if the place has a lot of capital ships in it, I don't want to land on top of them. That would be a bad idea. As it is, I'm going to stand here, standoff distance. Ooh, there's a container. I turned off autofocus, by the way. And for some reason that jammed in movement mode. But yeah, here we go. As you can see, Celestials, I said that's focus energy. Their fighters are equipped with plasma cannons, so they're knocking my shields down pretty quick. I think they've got like 100 hit points each on hard mode. So it takes like flat out a couple of hits for my projectile cannon to kill them. There we go. Just managed to kill them before they knocked through my shields. So, yeah. Alright, we've got 7 research points, 174 scrap. Not a scrap for anything. I don't think. Let's check. Fighter Bay. Yeah, cheapest fighters are 250. Nope. And no point getting a projectile weapon. Cheapest is 200 anyway. So, 7 science points. So I can use these points, I've not shown you this yet, to upgrade my guns. So each gun has got upgrade stats. It's determined by the weapon or equipment type. And as you upgrade them, they get more expensive, and as you can see, they affect the stats. You need to check each weapon out to see what they do. In this case, I can boost my range, but it will take slightly longer for the cannon to reload itself. I can boost its damage straight out per hit. And I can do things like burst fire, which means it fires twice, but it's less accurate, it takes longer to load up, and it's got shorter range. Things like that. So for now, since I've got... the enemy capital ships have got thick shields, I'm going to burst fire on the NG cannon, which reduces its accuracy and its recharge and its range, but doubles the firepower. Oh wait, that costs 1 more science pack. Oh, that's irritating. Never mind, I'm going to burst fire the damn projectile cannon. There we go. Honestly, this is better against fighters anyway, and when the shields are down. But it's also reduced the range, as you saw. Now, I've got a risk here. Some maps have these things, which are containers, they drop a loot item, some scrap and research, but more often than not, they've got a trap involved as well. And that is completely random. You don't know what it's going to be. Sometimes it just spawns a couple of fighters at you. Sometimes it'll call in an enemy ship, or multiple enemy ships if it's later on in the game and you're in a deeper area. Or it just flat out lobs a nuclear missile at you. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Sometimes these things just randomly throw a nuclear missile at you. It's kind of dangerous, but we'll give it a shot. What are you giving me? It's a trap. It is a fighter spawn. Okay, that I can handle. But as you can see, the cannon was double firing there, and 2 hits killed one of those enemy fighters. Problem is there's a lot of enemy fighters, and my shields just evaporated. Because they have a lot of incoming anti-shield damage. There we go. And I actually took hull damage there, because they hammered my shields down so fast. So yeah, I've lost hull damage. I can either spend some scrap to fix that immediately where I am, or if I had a repair beam or repair fighters, they could spend scrap to more efficiently fix it. Or I can go back to the battle station and fix it for free. And since I'm right next to a battle station, I'm going to do that. But right now, early in the game, you want to go back to the battle station anyway, because flat out, you want to scrape together the resources to get yourself more powerful. And that's an enemy item that dropped. It is, ooh, a Celestial Energy Gatling Cannon. Okay, this is one of those unique ones you can't get just flat out purchase for yourself. It's also Celestial versions to boot, which is kind of nice. It's short range, very little hull damage. It does shield damage, but it fires 8 times. However, it's got a slow recharge. Its recharge time is 5 seconds. Its accuracy is kind of poor, but those 8 shots times 60, because hull and shield damage, if you've got burst stats, that is per burst. So this thing does massive shield damage when it goes off. Flat out, much better. Except for the range. The range is absolutely awful. I don't really want a short range like that, but I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of my energy cannon. I'm going to recycle it, get some scrap back for that. And I've got a Celestial Energy Gatling Cannon. Lovely. I should have been saving my upgrades really for later on. Though actually later on they can become quite kind of plentiful. I've got enough scrap to build bolter drones or fighter drones. I think I'll hold off on that and get well, drones and things. They act as cannon fodder. They can block incoming missiles and incoming shots. But then the effect depends on the type. So bolters are just fighters. They try to fight and all that. Drones are really small. They're kind of fragile, but they are quite fast, and you tend to get a lot of them. But these guys are shield regen drones. They can help recharge my shields mid-battle. Their alternate version is repair drones, these guys, which spend a little bit of scrap to help repair some of your damaged hull. Then, if you go deeper in, you've got bombers. Plasma bombers are particularly especially nice, but missile bombers, they fire missiles which punch through enemy shields. So, yeah, you know, that kind of thing. I really want to get a shield drone, quite honestly, but I don't have the scrap for it, so I'm going to say no to that. And since I'm damaged, I'm going to go back to the station. I know. It's taken me an entire episode, pretty much, to do one sector. Oh, there's something moving. I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to wait here. Okay, it's just a patrolling ship and it's moved on. Alright. Okay. But yeah, I've given you the basic talk through and the basic look at the things. My objective is to go to the sector. By the way, the first time you go into a sector, there's always some loose scrap and research around, so visiting more sectors is always a good idea. You also get bonus points for each sector you visit as well. I've also completed the mission, but there's just random stuff. Now, this is a hazard zone. There's several types of this, but an asteroid zone has got rocks floating around in it. There's a nebula zone which drains your shields, and there's a black hole zone which flat out does constant damage to your hull, as well as any fighters that are deployed, so fighters tend to spontaneously blow up. Luckily, you can repair fighters for free. Well, replace them. If you've got repair drones, they'll repair your fighters and they'll cost you scrap. So, it's like, yeah. Bomb. If you got hit by an asteroid, it goes straight through your hull. It ignores shields. Anyway, let's see. There's an allied ship down here in the middle of a fighter swarm. Well, sucks for you. I'm going to jump in here. And this will be the last thing I do in this particular episode because we've just passed 20 minutes. So, yeah, I'm going to jump here. Hopefully, the enemy kills my allied ship. I know, it's heartless of me, but if he gets blown up, he's going to drop scrap and loot. Oh, there's my energy Gatling. The massive volley of fire. Oh, unfortunately, my ally survived. Okay, yeah. Anyway, allied captains, when you find them, getting them blown up for scrap is always useful. Because the only other thing to do, they help you protect an area if you fight in this area. This one actually has a lot of fighters on him. But, as you can see, he's also got a mission. Often you can trade with them. So they have sometimes an item for trade, or you can just sell stuff to them. A fair number of them you can do a mercenary contract with, which means they'll follow you for X number of terms if you pay them in scrap. It depends on if you find one or not. Or they give you a mission, and in this case, if I complete this guy's mission, he'll follow me for 11 turns. And their missions are always fetch quests. As you can see, he wants me to go to these three places, grab cargo boxes, and bring them back. So they always give you a fetch quest. Yeah, sure. I'll grab that, and hopefully I'll get to watch you die. I am friendly to my allies, aren't I? But yeah, I'm going to have to call the episode there. This has been Iron Mark III. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And I'll catch you all some other time. Where next time we'll pick up the pace. See you all later.